Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So in this particular class, we will be learning about conservation of forest here. It's under Unit 4 Ecosystem Management in your third semester. Ecosystem. So under this, we will be learning the important terminology, that is over exploitation. So before talking about conservation of forest or ecosystem, we will learn about over exploitation. So what do you mean by over exploitation? Over exploitation is nothing but using more than we require. Over exploitation is nothing but using more than we require. Let's take an example of a sheep or a goat. If you are taking a sheep or a goat for a piece of land every day to graze, if it is grazing that same land for a week, in a month or within 2 weeks, you can see that no grass will be found in that particular area, because that is because of overgrazing. See, if you leave the area for one day, or if you use the area for an alternative days here, one day the sheep is grazing here, other day in a particular different patch, and if it is continuing in an alternate manner, the grass can survive. But if you are grazing a sheep or a goat in the same piece of land every day, that is called as overgrazing, and the same applies for your forest also or ecosystem also, over exploitation. We are using our forest or our ecosystem in a more manner than that we require. Today, we are all dependent on forest for one or other reason. It may be our fruits, it may be our various different rare species, or it may be your spices, or it may be your firewood or your furniture. Everything we are dependent on forest only here. But no one is concerned about maintaining a forest, no one is concerned about conserving a forest, no one is concerned about preserving a forest. That's where we are lacking everything here. Because of this particular over exploitation, we are in the losing side here. We are not getting whatever we require. Let's take an example of the Australian bushfire which recently happened here. It was out of our control. Even we are lost a huge patch of land in Australia which was giving us oxygen. Being a human, we all require oxygen for our survival, but we are not thinking about that here. We are cutting down the trees for the irrational purposes. That is for your comfort, that is for your comfort zone. To fulfill your comfort zone, we are taking our life itself. That's what happening here. That is our over exploitation. That's how we are losing the forest every day by day. And if you want to build a good villa, or if you want to build a good place for yourself, you are cutting down the forest. But we are not understanding the forest is our lifeline here. Without forest, you can have a building here, but you cannot live in that particular building. You can create a huge skyscraper in the forest, but if the forest don't exist, if there is no oxygen, you cannot survive at all. If you are not surviving, can we keep your dead body in that skyscraper? That's what the fate of human beings. That's what we are doing here. That's the resultant of this over exploitation. Not only with reference to your forest, everything what the nature is giving us, we are over exploiting it. Let's take an example of your ores. Whatever the metal ores we have got here, we are taking out, or we are exploring the ores in a huge manner. It may or may not be required here, but for our comfort, for our luxurious nature, we are extracting more and more minerals out of that one, which is again leading to the various reduction in the ecosystem here. So as I told you, we are over exploiting the natural resources here, but we need to think that all the resources are not renewable here. We got two different types of resources, that is a renewable resource and then non-renewable resources. Only few of the natural resources are renewable resources and few others are non-renewable resources. So, we should be care taken, or care should be taken from our side, that we should not over exploit the non-renewable resources. Okay. So, this is about the over exploitation and where we are standing due to this particular over exploitation. Now, we will learn how to conserve this particular thing. If you want to conserve the ecosystem, if you want to conserve the forest here, what are the things we can do here? So, let us take an example of the simple thing called as afforestation. What do you mean by afforestation? Afforestation is a program which was launched to increase the growing of trees, or to increase the rate of growth of trees, or increase the trees here, or planting more number of trees can be called as your afforestation. By afforestation, we can conserve the forest or ecosystem here. Whatever the loss we have done to the forest, or whatever the loss we have done to this ecosystem, can be given back. That can be given back to the nature by doing this particular afforestation. By growing more plants and trees, we can give back the thing. If afforestation is there, we can increase the rate of forest, we can increase the number of trees. So, more number of trees means more amount of oxygen will be yielded, more birds will be saved in that particular trees, and we can get rains at a proper times. And in current scenario, you can observe that even the climatic cycle is not going according to the plan here. In summer, we are getting rain, and in the rainy season we are getting very hot days, and even in winter we are experiencing very hot days here. These are all due to the lack of trees here, because the trees and the nature share a very good relationship. In the lack of those trees, the climatic cycle will be affected here. So, afforestation is a program launched to plant more trees or to grow more trees, so that it will be benefited for even us as well as our future generations here. And the next thing we can do here is called as social forestry. So, what I mean by social forestry? Social refers to that of a society. Society can be referred to as that of social. Forest is that we should take care of forest here. Recently, if you are aware, government has put many schemes in the villages where both are benefited. Let us take an example. There is a forest in a village, and the villagers are given the authority of that particular forest. So, they should look after the forest, they should look after the trees growing in that particular forest, or they should look after the vegetation which is well growing in that particular forest. And once they are ripened, or once they are about to harvest, it may be a tree, where they are cut for various purposes, a part of the income will be given for the people also. So, both are benefited. If they look after the forest without any theft or anything, so that will yield some amount, that will yield some income there. So, that income which is collected by the forest, a part of that income will be given for the people also here. So, we should actively take place, or we should actively take part in these programs to conserve our ecosystem here. Not only for the purpose of income which is, or the revenue generated in that particular thing, we should also involve in conserving the forest with reference to the humanitarian values, moral values, ethical values. We should take care of the people, or we should take care of the things which are taking care of us. Imagine a day without any tree releasing oxygen, we are no more. Within 5 minutes, whole of the universe will be turned into a graveyard here. So, as they are protecting us, as they are taking care of us, we also should put up ourselves to take care of those forests which will be helpful for our plus this. Our forest or ecosystem is nothing but agroforestry. agroforestry. So what do you mean by agroforestry here? Agroforestry is nothing but cultivating of perennials in your own land. Let's take an example. You own a particular piece of land in your village. It may be about half an acre or 1 acre. In that land, you can grow your crops according to your convenience. You can grow ragi, you can grow wheat, or you can grow rice, or any convenient thing, any cereals, any pulses in your particular land. Along with that particular beneficial cereals or pulses, you can also grow certain trees in that particular area itself. Let us take an example. If this is your land, this is a piece of land which you are owning here, you can grow the trees in the surrounding area of your particular field here. So there are so many benefits of this particular agroforestry. See, when these trees are there, they will be acting as a shield for your area also. And other thing, by growing the trees in this particular area, you are contributing for the greener world again. See, you are not taking care of this particular trees here, because once they are up to a particular age, they can take care of themselves. They will not ask you for water, they will not ask you for fodder, or they will not ask you for any other resources. Just you have to take up the step to sow the seed of a particular tree there. So by doing this particular thing, we can also contribute for the conservation of forest or ecosystem. Or if you are having an area which is not at all used in your particular village or anything, and it is not up to any people, you can grow some trees there. At least by the time they are cut, they will be contributing for a greener world again. So in this manner, we can again contribute for the conservation of forest here. So I told you about over exploitation here. What are all the things we are doing, and how it is affecting us, and how we can conserve the forest or ecosystem here. So we can take up the afforestation method here, and we can go for your social forestry, and third one, we can also maintain your agroforestry. By these methods, we can conserve the forest and contribute for an greener world and a greener nature. I think you have liked my video. Please, if you like my content, like my video, share my video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.